Hello guys, there's a guy on the YouTube channel called Talia Main who really wanted a K review. I was planning to stop for today, but I'm gonna make that one especially for him because he has been there for a long time. So let's start. Who is K? K is one of the two light goalkeepers. What you gotta know is he's one of the DR based goalkeepers, and he's pretty decent, got really buffed with the update. Now he is really a great counter against utility players. So do not use him in any slot other than goalkeeper. He will be completely useless. He does have good technique and vitality, exactly what you'd await from a goalkeeper. So stat-wise, he's going to do pretty well. So let's start right away. His active: decrease inflicted damage from a shot by 60%. That's just really nice. That's a good DR value. You shouldn't have any problem surviving the first shot. And all his other passives are based on the fact that he survives the shot. So it's just really important that you have that. You always want to have enough spirit, and you want to have some sort of way to generate just in case in your midline, because if you can't use this active, you're going to get one shot even in the current meta. Now you got Forestall. This is the one that you're not going to max out. Decrease opponent's crit rate by 25% if in the position. You're just going to put a free until you just can 7-star him. And he is one of the players to be good. You need to 7-star because I'm going to talk about the stones, and there is a problem with his stoning. So you decrease the opponent's crit rate by 15% if in the position is already really great, goes up to 25, but it's just decreasing. Now increase critical resistance by 20% and reduce incoming damage by 15% for 10 minutes when attacked. It stacks 3 times. So that's a really long, complicated skill. The main idea is every time you get attacked, you get more powerful. There's a 10-minute till the stack disappears. Since it's a goalkeeper, it will never disappear because of death. Well, if it disappears, you've already lost the game. So the real issue here is mid-game, getting this thing to actually function, because end-game, games will usually last maybe real-time 10 minutes, but in the game, you're still going to be at the first minute. I've seen many games that I won or lost, and we shot multiple goalkeepers, and we're still at 3 minutes because we were all using action bar regain. So in those end games, this will actually become a much more valuable passive. And then the last passive, Never Die, was actually really good if you can get it to activate. Decrease the incoming damage by 40%, increase defense by 20% when the life is below 60%. So again, you want to get shot by the Galaxy Quaker, but you don't want to be too low because you want to be low enough for this skill to activate, but not to be taken out by the second shot. Now what you're going to notice is compared to most goalkeepers, he doesn't have a form of heal. And when you look at his stones, there isn't a color of attribute that gives him heal, and that is his greatest weakness. But with the 7-star, we are finally able to change the colors of stones. So this is going to make a very big difference on the way we can stone him. I will first talk about the old build, who is still the current build, and the new build that we're now mainly using. So again, he has a Wyrmwind, 2 light, and the slot that we can't change is light. So let's go right in it. In the stones, between Wyrmwind and light, there's only 2 goalkeeper stone. Immolation, life and critical resistance. It's decent, but I don't think it's going to max out against the protection of Mother Earth. It depends how much GR buffs you're running in the light. It might not even be valuable. So the worst case scenario, go to Immolation, but check the difference in GR you have with and without the stone before deciding. Now, on the other stones, if you're not running this unique, the stone you're going to be running is the Wyrmwind DR. And in the light stones, it's really going to be a question of what you're looking for. You got the light defense. It's very basic. It gives back action bar, but a goalkeeper shot at will usually always have max action bar. Life, it's going to give you back a bit of recovery, so you're going to get more life back when you're not fighting with the enemy. And now they've added a DR to the line. Now, what I'm going to say is this build is decent, but that's one of the reasons why he doesn't work. So I'm going to say what the real build you'd want to put on a K is, and it's going to be a little bit different. So again, the only stones we can change is 1 light and 1 Wyrmwind. So I'm going to be changing both of those directly to Thunder. Now, when we're changing them to Thunder, we're going to go directly for Stars tier. Why? Because it's one of the stones that when being attacked will heal you, increase defense, and critical resistance. All 3 stats who he's desperately missing, because all of them, he has them when they stack, and at the beginning, he is very high chance of being one-tapped, especially with the Andor critical damage stones that are completely flooding the market. Now you need to know that since the Andor critical damage stones are flooding the market, there's a very low value of penetration running around. So if you can still have DR after the values of those penetration stones are done, you can actually be very resistant and very frustrating to your enemies, especially if you're combining this with a heal. Now again, his second weakness is being critted. He does have some decent crit resist, but again, it needs to stack. It needs to be under low life. So what you're going to do as a second stone, you're going to put the Thunder defense, increased defense and critical resistance. You're also going to put this in the prime slot because no one's going to be running some defense lowering totems unless they're really endgame and they know exactly what they're doing, or they got an idea of a funky combination. For example, I'm running Lilith and Fran to stop co-op defense, but it's also canceling out the effect of defense stones. And for the last slot, it is a light slot. So again, it's going to be between the free stones. I would say since now we have healing, the life stone is going to be the most valuable one. But if you really don't like it, then just put a bit more DR. Look at the DR value again to see if it is noticeable, especially with 0 and then with 3 stacks. So that's basically how you're going to run him. So again, until you can change his stones, he will feel extremely weak, and you're going to need to look for him some really good critical resistance passives at the beginning, because it's going to be really hard for him to stack that. Now let's look at him on a chain level. So chain-wise, the first affection chain is really bad. The second one is also really bad. The Nemesis chain should never activate, and the rival chain also won't. So again, the chains are actually very bad. He is in some chains that could be interesting. For example, he has a rival chain with Virgil. So Virgil could still be there and heal him a little bit more, who was one of the ways people were trying to make him survive. But now you're not actually locked to using a healer in backline because he's also going to self-heal. And I'm usually imagining that people who are running a light goalkeeper usually also have a meta somewhere in their team because that's what everyone has. Now, on a skin level, I'm going to say very basic skin. I actually really like his second skin more than his base skin or his ultimate, but that's really a question of personal taste. Now, on the special skins, he has like a Christmas K version. It does look pretty nice, to be honest, but I don't know. I just really like the second skin. So now, what kind of team does one build K on? So when you think about K, you got to know that he doesn't really gain that many buffs from chains. So you're not awaiting. It doesn't make a difference what kind of element you throw him in. So that's why he can actually work very well in a rainbow, mono, any kind of line you want. It doesn't make a difference to him. But he's usually going to work even better in a rainbow just because there are certain players who might buff him better. I would say he's going to work really well with a Wormwindish backline, especially with a Silk to give him that nice critical resistance, and maybe a Kiki for a bit of life, a Jhin, anything you can put in the backline that's going to increase his life, and maybe throw in any healer you feel like. Even what could be really cool is now throwing in Black Ivy because it's a question of time before she gets buffed, and you could also use some other healers in backline. Virgil doesn't seem to be so compatible with K, but if you don't have healing on K, you can use him in the meantime. So I think that concludes the video on K, and if you have any questions, comment, opinion, please write down below. I know this is one of my opinions on how the build should be. You can have your own. Again, give it in comments. Subscribe if you like the videos, and if you have any requests, put that in a comment and I'll see what I can do. Have a good day, guys.